Hi, last night I watched The Killer, David Fincher's latest film. Fincher's been on, I felt, quite a sharp downward slide for the last decade or so. He's only made a couple of films in that time, but I felt that both of them are among his weakest work. Gone Girl, I felt, was lurid airport novel trash that I couldn't see any attraction with. And Mank was ahistorical gibberish that Fincher appeared to have made solely because it was written by his late father. It had very little relationship with historical reality in the story of the making of Citizen Kane, and it was one of the worst films I saw that year. I'm very pleased that The Killer is definitely a return to form, easily his best film since The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but 12 years ago, and probably going back a bit further than that. It's the story of a professional assassin, played by Michael Fassbender, who is busy in Paris, monitoring a hotel room, waiting for the opportunity to take the shot. When he eventually does, unfortunately, due to a sheer happenstance, it goes wrong, and he is forced to flee the country and the police, making it back to his home, but finding that his associates have got there first to clear up the loose ends, and he, in turn, has to travel all over the world to prevent his organization from getting to him first. It's a very dark, low-key story. It's very reminiscent of 70s movies. Our lead character narrates to the audience. We never hear a name, although he's constantly using an unending cycle of false identities on various passports, all of which are named for main characters in American sitcoms, which I thought was a grimly entertaining creative choice. But we hear his life philosophy, his mantras, the way he works, the way he focuses, that he deliberately cuts empathy out of the equation. But he has a girlfriend back home whom he clearly cares for a great deal and even has a good friendship with her brother. So we see right from the start that he's breaking his own rules and that he isn't sticking to his own mantras. Over the course of the story, we see him develop and become more and more human, more and more sloppy and less meticulous and exacting in his work as he becomes increasingly more like a human being and having to take a personal interest in his work rather than see it as some kind of removed mechanism. I thought Michael Fassbender in the lead role was absolutely terrific, a great display of control and refinement that slowly breaks down over the course of the film. The supporting cast is generally quite a series of quite small roles. Arliss Howard has a small role towards the end. Tilda Swinton is the next biggest name in the cast and really is only in one lengthy scene. But they all make an impression. They're all very sharply defined characters as our killer goes and takes care of business in various locations. Fincher himself is famous for his exacting work and doing dozens of takes, and it's almost as though I can imagine him thinking about other lines of work where the same level of attention to detail is required, and hitting on the idea of, well, a professional assassin, someone who prides himself on being able to recreate accidents that are completely untraceable, for example, which comes in handy with one of his victims. It's one of the best films of the year. I was really excited and pleased by it, and it's certainly a film with a moral conscience. As our character becomes more and more human and more emotionally engaged with his environment, he becomes less and less like a killer, that the idea of killing is anathema to normal human behavior. And he even begins to acknowledge this towards the end, that he's doing what he's doing for a specific reason, but it is not natural behavior. It's brilliantly written by Andrew Kevin Walker, reteaming with Fincher after Seven, which was nearly 30 years ago, based on a series of French graphic novels. But it's an exceptional film. Fincher's best in well over a decade. I thought it was superb. It's available on Netflix now, and I recommend it very highly as one of the best films of the year.